What's up, y'all? Got another player interview for y'all. We've got Nevada tight end Cole Turner, aspiring draft prospect, one heck of a player, one of the best tight ends in college football. What's up, Cole? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having me.
No problem. We're excited to have you with us today. We also have Andrew Wilson, who's covering the NFL draft, trying to get into that, make big things happen. What's up, Andrew? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm very appreciative of you having me on, Liam, and I'm also appreciative of Cole being here. So let's have a good interview.
For sure, for sure. Cole, the first thing I want to ask you is when you make it to the NFL, how do you plan to use your platform for good and give back to others?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to start a philanthropy with my sisters and my mom. So I would say that's the first thing I'm looking to do when I kind of wrap up school and kind of look at what I'm trying to do exactly with that and kind of figure out where I kind of want to pinpoint. I want to do something that's not as as highly used by everyone else. So we're kind of trying to figure out what way we want to go with that right now.
That's super interesting. The next thing I'll ask you is when you get drafted, it's always a topic of discussion what players are going to do with their first paycheck. You mentioned your family there. Are you going to give something to them, or what's the first thing you'd be looking to buy?
Yeah, I don't really have anything in mind that that I want to buy. Especially like because you really have no idea where you're going to go. I mean, it would be a blessing just to be drafted at all. So I don't really have an exact thing that I want to buy yet. I mean, maybe a couple of years down the road, hopefully a house. I would say that's a big goal of mine is to buy a house, and then I always wanted to help my sisters out with their tuition. So I would just say that that would probably be the biggest thing immediately would just be to start helping my sisters out with their tuition. Because they're doing big things in school as well. So I want to be able to support them.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I love it when players, as soon as you can get to the NFL, you can get a big head like, oh, I made it. But I love it when players are like, they're thinking, okay, how can I get to having my family get a better life? Because that's the people that helped you get there. And I love that. So Liam's talked a little bit about the NFL. I want to talk a little bit more about college. When you were coming out of high school, what made Nevada kind of stand out and what kind of went into the final decision about saying, you know what, I want to be here?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. There's really like I didn't have too many. I had a good amount of offers, but I didn't have too many bigger offers in Nevada. I only had one Pac-12 offer, and that was Oregon State. And I honestly, I really like the coaching staff, and they always talk about don't go to a school because the coaching staff because you don't know how long they'll be there. But I really liked the coaching staff, and I liked the area, and ultimately it was the right decision, and I'm glad I did because most especially in offense, most of the coaches are still here that recruited me, so I've been lucky.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, so next up, you do have a little bit of a background in basketball, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I played basketball all the way up until college every year I can remember.
So how do you think that helped you develop as a football player?
Oh yeah, man. I would tell any kid, play as many sports as you can for as long as you can, because once you get to college, you spend so much time on one sport that you don't want to burn yourself out when you're younger, for one. So that was fun. It always gave me a balance, to do more than one thing, and then everything translates. If you think about it like this, like you catch a basketball at practice, you catch about maybe like 400 passes between passes and rebounds, just catching the ball. So if you watch anyone who's played basketball, they're usually always a natural hands catcher. So I would think that's definitely helped me out a lot. And then just like with side to side movement and being more agile, playing defense and stuff like that as well.
The next thing I'll ask is I want to know. Well, first off, can you dunk?
Oh yeah, I mean, if
Yeah,
I was
okay.
6'6" and I couldn't dunk, that'd be bad.
I just want to make sure because I didn't want to ask this, and then you're a jelly fam kind of layup guy. But tell
Oh no,
me,
no, definitely not.
tell me the teammate on your football team in Nevada who you most want to dunk on. Absolutely posterize.
Probably probably our backup quarterback, Nate Cox, if you guys
Of
know who that
course.
is.
Yeah, he's a giant. He's what, 6'9" or
Yeah,
whatever.
just
Yeah,
because he's 6'9".
that
Yeah, he's
that
6'9", so it would feel good to put one down on him.
that's the best answer we could hope for. Yeah, that'd be a sick poster. The next thing I'll
Yeah,
ask,
exactly.
yeah, the next thing I'll ask is you made that transition from wide receiver to tight end in your junior season. What went into that decision, and were you ever hesitant about moving to tight end?
Oh no, I definitely wasn't hesitant about moving. I wanted to play more, so I was down to do anything. I just wanted to be out there on the field helping the team as much as possible, and try to start making a name for myself. So uh, when they kind of brought up the idea to me, I was all for it. Like I really felt like it was a spot that I could excel in. And I looked at guys like Darren Waller and a lot of like Travis Kelsey guys and like Mark Andrews, who were guys who went from wide receiver to tight end, and it's like it's not uncommon at all. It happens constantly. So I mean, like I looked at my size and frame, and it was like it probably makes the most sense for me if I want to keep this thing going to do that. So I mean, I embraced it always from the start, and I'm happy my coaches have the same vision for me, and they're putting me in a position to succeed.
It was a phenomenal career choice.
Yeah, no, definitely, it definitely saved my career, no doubt.
So you talked about the coaching staff when you did the position change. Was there anything else that you did that kind of helped you develop going from that sophomore to the junior year?
Yeah, I mean, I came into college and I weighed about like 205 to 210 pounds, and now I'm like a solid 240, 245. So I mean, that the weight probably definitely helped me out a little bit. And then on top of that, it was just I guess just like through COVID and quarantine, like I was always working out when I knew a lot of other guys weren't. So I feel like that helped out my confidence. And then I kind of like looked at that as like a restart. And like I was on a position change at the time too, and I was looking at it like, okay, everyone's starting over. Like, this is like let's like it's a new opportunity, and I wanted to make the most out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing. So obviously you started as a tight end. Or started as a wide receiver, excuse me. Was there a guy that you grew up watching and you just kind of like idolized him and wanted to play like him?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Calvin Johnson was always my favorite player growing up when I was really young. I remember I would always watch the Lions games just for him, because I didn't really want to watch the Lions besides that, but like I would always watch him. And then I was a big Des Bryant. I like Des Bryant too. I always liked the bigger guys because I was always the tallest guy out there. So I would say them. And then even when those years that Mike Evans was at Texas A&M with Johnny Football, those teams were just so fun to watch that I really liked Mike Evans as well. So I would say definitely those guys, those type of players.
Calvin Johnson is the GOAT, undisputed. Don't care what anyone else says.
I believe I'm right there with you, brother. I believe you.
So he's obviously exceptional at 50 balls that we know became 99 one balls. The fades he's so good at too. You and Carson Strong have been able to perfect that back shoulder fade, especially in the end zone. Is that your favorite play to run? If so, why? If not, what would you say your favorite play to run is?
No, yeah, that's definitely my favorite play. Like like it's a chance for me to score a touchdown and help the team. So I mean, and me and Carson have a good connection, and I know if there's one guy out there, he's going to throw it to me every time. So it's not a surprise when it's coming to anyone. It's not a surprise to the offense. It's not a surprise to the defense. So, I mean, I think that's what I like about it too. Like, it's like the DB's got to come out on my island, and he knows what's coming, and it's just a matter of if you can try and stop it or not. So, I mean, I guess that's what I really like about it is that it's just like it's no surprise for anyone.
Yeah, and when you're in the end zone running it, it's an automatic 6 points. It's bully ball
Oh yeah,
wherever you are on the field. And we saw it against UNLV. They had that smaller DB lined up against you, and you absolutely bullied them and scored the touchdown.
yeah. I mean, I like my chances out there with anyone if they're going to guard me one on one, and I think Carson would tell you the same thing.
For sure. And your skill set is so much more than just being a big body target and good contested catch or whatever it be. There's a lot about your skill set for us NFL draft fans to obsess over and project your talent at the next level. What would you say your best attribute of your game is?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that people look at me more than just a guy who can, catch a couple jump balls. But I mean, I feel like I'm overall just a good a possession receiver in the field. I know how to read coverage, and I feel like that's one of the biggest parts of my game that you can't exactly see, because it's not like basketball where you hear the person talking or playing. But kind of like when you watch me on film, I feel like I'm always trying to find open areas, and I feel like I'm good at reading coverage and getting open and kind of being like a safety blanket for Carson. So I mean, I feel like that's my biggest attribute, is just kind of making plays when they need to be made.
Yeah, and I will say you are definitely the safety blanket for that team. Obviously, a ton of talented guys. But next thing I want to ask, Liam kind of talked about it earlier with the fade. Obviously, it's not just a run and jump scenario. Is there anything specific that you do to make yourself stand out from the crowd when it comes to that play?
I mean, honestly, no. There's not like too much science behind it. We kind of just, if there's one guy out there, Carson's going to throw it. If and then I think that usually the guys, when they kind of see me split out, they know it's coming too. So, I mean, there's really nothing special behind it. I mean, Carson usually just puts it in a good spot for me, and then it kind of makes my job easy.
Yeah. I mean, y'all run that to perfection. So next thing, you elaborated earlier about, Darren Wall or Mark Andrews, those guys that went from wide receiver to tight end. Would you compare your game to those guys, or is there someone else in the NFL that you would kind of compare yourself to play wise?
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely compare myself to those kind of guys, because I feel like I do a lot of the same things in them, especially in uh, especially like the guys you just said, Darren Waller and Mark Andrews, just because I look at them and we're similar body types, and we're known as pass catching guys per se. So I mean, yeah, I'm glad that they're doing so well, because it's kind of creating a lane for guys like me. So I'm thankful to them for kind of paving the way for hopefully that me being that next generation of guys like that.
You have dominated this season. You've set the Mountain West on fire. In our eyes, we know you've set the college football world on fire. The Mackey voters were tripping when they left you off that semifinalist list. Absolute idiocy from them. They don't watch college football, apparently. Um, what was your reaction to seeing you left off that list for an inexplicable reason? Is that something you're going to remember, or is it something you'll just forget about?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's the second straight year it's happened. So I mean, it's not like I'm I guess you could say I'm used to it now. But I mean, it was a pretty similar situation last year. So I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm upset about it, because at the end of the day, like, the team awards are most important. Like, I'll take winning the conference championship over anything like that anytime. But I mean, at the same time, like, I do feel a little bit disrespected by it, considering what I've done. But at the same time, you don't do it for the accolades. You do it for the wins at the end of the day. So as long as our team keeps winning, and we keep putting up the numbers we are, I'm not going to complain at all about something like that. That's so little. I think everyone who played against me and plays with me kind of knows my impact. So I'll let my play do the talking.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're tripping. I don't know what college football they're watching, but they're obviously sleeping on you. You've had a prolific career, especially this season and last season, as you burst onto the scene. What do you want to be remembered for most by Nevada fans?
Oh man, I hope they remember me for more than just playing on Saturdays. I hope I'm remembered in the program for kind of being a guy that helped build back the program from when I remember when I came on my official visit. The team was 0-5 at the time, and they just got their first win, and me and Carson were sitting up in the stands together. And my dad was like, "If they don't win tonight, are you sure you want to go here?" Like, And so, I mean, I guess that's the thing I'm most proud of is kind of getting Nevada back to its winning ways. So, I mean, I hope I'm remembered as one of those guys that was part of the classes and teams that kind of changed the program back to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I personally think it's safe to say you will be remembered for all of those reasons. You know, Nevada is definitely getting back to their winning ways, as you talked about. Next thing I want to talk about. So obviously you're in your final year at Nevada. What is your favorite part of the atmosphere on game day, would you say?
Oh man, I would say it's changed so much over the years. Like just like I said, like I remember coming to my official visit and there was like maybe 12,000 people in the stands, and now we sold out our last home game. So I would say my favorite part of the game day atmosphere is probably seeing all the students there, just because it's evolved so much from where it was at. So I would say like that's something that I'm not only proud of, but it's probably my favorite part now too, especially being part of the student body. It's really like encouraging and nice and like heartwarming to see that your other students are out there supporting you, and it's cold and it's late at night and raining on a Saturday. So we're really appreciative of all the people that want to come out and watch.
Yeah, those student sections, man, they're crazy. No matter where you go, they're always something special.
That's
Um,
what makes college football great.
it is. It really is. Next thing. So, do you have like a pregame playlist or a song or an artist that you listen to kind of get you in
Uh,
the the zone?
yeah, I mean, I would say like my go-to guy like for pre-games is probably Gunna. I'm a big Gunna fan. I like Lil Baby too, but those are kind of my guys I listen to before game. But like when I'm just casually listening to music, definitely my favorite artist is Rod Wave. I probably got about every one of his songs saved.
You were a three-star recruit, and obviously the people that evaluate recruiting messed up there. You should have been higher. There's a lot of other recruits right now and in the future that are going to be under recruited, underrated, and they're going to contemplate if they should keep pursuing the sport they love or not. What advice would you have to give to these under recruited high school athletes?
Yeah, I mean, like yeah, at the end of the day, the all that whatever recruiting rankings and all that, that's just some guy that is trying to put a label on you. Like he most of the time those guys didn't even play that long in their life or what it is. So you can't let anything like that get to you. Like as long as you know what you're capable of and you're confident in yourself and really you're confident in your work ethic, which is most important. Like you can be successful. You can carve yourself out of life in anything. That's not just sports. That's if you want to be an engineer and someone tells you, oh, that's too much schooling or it's too hard. Like if you believe in it and you pursue it full head of steam, you're not going to be disappointed with the outcome no matter what it is.
Great answer. The last thing I'll ask before you get to Andrew's final two questions for you is there anything behind the number you chose, number 19, or is it just another few numbers?
Yeah. No, yeah, they just slapped it on me when I got here. I wore number 13 all through high school, so I was hoping. But at the time, when one of our backup quarterbacks, Christian Solano, was wearing it, and I didn't want to be that guy that was creating a ruckus about a number, because at the end of the day, I'll just make whatever number was on me, my own. But I like 19 a lot, so I mean, it worked out. 19's not a bad looking number at all. So
Yeah, definitely a good looking number. Next thing I want to ask is what kind of makes you stand out from the pack as a player, whether it's just in the nation, the draft, like what do you think makes you stand out?
yeah, I mean, like like you said, when you start getting up to that next level, I know everyone's talented and everyone kind of has a slotted skill set, but I feel like I just have a lot of potential. Like that's my biggest thing is like I'm like I said, it's only my second year in the position, and it's only really like my fourth year really being fully committed to football at the same time. So I feel like I'm just starting to tap into what I can really do, and on top of that, like I feel like I'm a big student of the game. Like I feel like I try to look at the game like a quarterback. I want to be as smart as a quarterback when I'm out there. So I feel like those two things are something that you can't really teach into people. So I mean, it's something that I've always tried to pride myself on. So I would say those two things.
That's a amazing answer. And it actually kind of goes into my last question. Obviously, coming out of high school, now you're in your final year of college with Nevada. What would you say you have most developed in these last few years? Or it doesn't even have to be a skill on the field. It can be like what you were talking about, just being a student of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like overall, like I've just like at Nevada, my time at Nevada, like I've just changed. Like I became, much more of a man, like in general, just I learned how to kind of take care of my business and, how to kind of slot, how to work, what to work, how to recover, all those kind of things are, you have to learn about yourself and learn how to be the most productive version of yourself. And, I'm still learning, but I feel like I've came a long way. So I would say, that's what I'm most proud of. And that's what I like the most is the journey, and the journey, it's just getting started, luckily, hopefully. So, I'm excited for what's next. And, I can't wait to finish up strong here at Nevada.
It's a long road ahead, and it's super bright. We know what you're capable of. You're going to thrive in these last few games in Nevada and in the NFL, wherever you end up. We'll wrap up this interview with what we call Pick Six. I'll ask you 6 questions right quick. I'll start off with if you weren't playing football, what would you be doing?
Oh man, playing basketball.
Dunking on people naturally.
Exactly.
What about your favorite food, your least favorite food?
Least favorite is definitely tomatoes. Favorite would probably be that's tough, but probably chicken wings, I would say. Right now, at least, it changes all the time.
Does least favorite food being tomatoes mean you just hate ketchup as well?
What was that?
Because you hate tomatoes, do you just despise ketchup too?
No, no, no. I like ketchup. It's just like I don't like tomatoes in their natural form.
Gotcha. What about if you could have any animal as a pet? What animal are you choosing?
Oh man, I remember like I was watching Journey to the Center of the Earth with Kevin Hart and The Rock, and they had like this baby elephant, and I was like, having one of those would be pretty cool because they're so smart. So
That
maybe one of
what?
those. If
All right,
possible.
that's a good answer. What about hidden talent?
Um, hidden talent. I don't know. I don't really think I have any hidden talents. I try to put my talents on full display. So I mean, I guess I'm a decent cook. Carson would tell you that I'm probably a decent cook.
What's the best thing you make?
Um, probably chicken, like any type of chicken.
Tomatoes far away from that chicken you make, of course. What about
Oh yeah, no tomatoes in this house.
if you could travel anywhere in the world, where are you going and why?
Oh man, there's a lot of places I want to travel to. I really want to travel to a lot of different spots, but I mean, definitely probably the spot I want to see first is either like Greece or Australia, just because I've how beautiful it is, and then on top of that, like the culture too is something that I kind of want to see as well and experience. So definitely, I would say like Greece, Spain, or Australia, one of those places.
That's dope. I think you're the third player we've had that said Greece in a row. The last,
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of good stuff about there. So,
yeah, it seems great. The last thing I'll ask you is, what's your favorite football memory growing up, and then what's your favorite Nevada football moment?
oh yeah, I would definitely say growing up was like my my first, but well, one was definitely winning the state championship when I was a senior. But like growing up when I was younger, I would say like I remember my very first game. We were down like 35-0 or something, and they threw a Hail Mary at the end of the game, and I caught a Hail Mary. And it was my first ever game, and I was like, maybe we don't suck, and I can do this. And then we were actually playing. If you know who Elijah Molden is on the
Oh yeah.
Titans DB, yeah, we were playing his team, and this dude had like 5 touchdowns on us, and so I was glad I was at least able to get one in there. And then I would say my favorite moment at Nevada. That's tough. Like, there's been a lot of good ones. I would probably say from this season, it was winning the Boise State game, just because like Nevada hadn't beaten them so long, and Boise State, even though they're kind of having a down year this year, just because of the history of their program and the rivalry between our programs, I would say that was probably my a super fun game and something that I really enjoyed, along with the bowl game last year too.
Yeah, that Boise State game was electric. Was super hyped watching that and just seeing y'all dominate and thrive. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Cole, for doing this interview, coming on, doing this. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Andrew, for co-hosting. You're gonna light it up in these next few years. Gonna dominate the NFL. I hope people really start to pay attention to you and realize the talent you possess. And hopefully things align here for Nevada and y'all could win that Mountain West division.
Yeah, hopefully too. I appreciate you guys for having me. I really enjoy your guys' Twitter pages. They're great.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you again to Nevada tight end Cole Turner for doing this interview. Make sure to like and subscribe over on YouTube. We'll see you next time.
All right, see you guys soon. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.